Hey everybody, welcome to another video. This video is an emergency video. There's something that I just noticed, and what I did the other day, actually last night about 4 in the morning, I was going through the agenda for BSIS, that's the Bureau of Security Investigative Services. Those of you who are not private security professionals in the state of California, BSIS is the regulatory arm for private security professionals. So I was going through the agenda and I noticed that there is a meeting, an advisory committee meeting that will be on February 26, 2021. That's February 26, 2021. It's going to be at 10 o'clock a.m. and it's a online meeting. So typically you'd have to go travel to Sacramento on most of the meetings, but because of COVID-19, you're able to log in and watch the meeting. And I highly recommend you do that. So I was looking at the minutes. Before they have discussions, they have what's called minutes. And minutes is the subject matter that is going to be discussed during the public meeting. It gives the public time to come up with arguments or come up with supportive speeches or remarks when that line item is presented. So I'm scrolling down here and I'm on item number 8, and item 8 is update on legislation impacting the Bureau and the private security industries. I don't know if you guys can see, I'll show you right now. I keep looking down, and that's because I have a computer that's right in front of me. Here's my trusty computer, and I'm looking down right now just so that I can refer to the content. So it says Assembly Bill 229, that's Chris Holden. We discussed who Chris Holden is on another video. Anyhow, it says effective January 1st, 2023, this bill expands the power to arrest and training in the carrying and usage of firearms to include appropriate use of force. And they put in quotation marks, appropriate use of force. Training, and extends the courses by 2 hours. Okay, that's 2 hours. The Bureau will work with POST. POST is the Commission on Peace Officer Standards and Training. They develop certain training requirements for California peace officers. So they're going to work with POST to develop the course outline. And this bill makes weapons of mass destruction and terrorism awareness. Okay, that's this course. Okay. It makes that course an elective only. Additionally, the bill clarifies that an armed security guard must be an employee of a private patrol operator. In a way, that's kind of good, because previously we have to figure out whether this person has a PPO license or not if they want to carry armed. Actually, I won't get too much into that subject because I'm just going to confuse you, and I don't want to stray away from the content, the intended content of today's video. So they're gonna make this course obsolete if this bill passes. Okay. Right now in California, if you want to be a private security guard or private security officer, you have to do a number of things. So number one, you have to complete the 8 hours powers to arrest course. It's an 8-hour course. 4 hours of that course is powers to arrest training. Basically, it covers your authority as a private security professional. The other 4 hours is weapons of mass destruction. You see, after 9/11, the tragic event of 9/11, BSIS came up with a remarkable idea of training private security officers to detect terrorists. This course, if it's taught appropriately, is a good course. It teaches you how to find the terrorist, especially find the terrorist that is planning on conducting some type of surveillance operation or conducting some type of future terrorist attack. This is a really good course if it's taught by a good instructor that covers everything. Really good course. So the last 4 hours of the 8-hour course, you have to take this. After that, you can already work on a post. And then within 30 days, you have to complete 16 hours of these mandatory courses that covers communication and its significance, diversity, and right now offhand I don't remember what the other two courses are. I'm going blank right now. After that, within 6 months of your employment, there are elective courses that you can complete. Most people end up doing the firearms. If not, they'll do pepper spray, baton. They'll do some type of self-defense training. But there's a whole lot of other courses, school security, elective courses that you can complete. Well, this course that I think that those private security professionals that were paying attention to this course, I think they prevented a lot of terrorist attacks in the United States of America, especially California. See, unfortunately, the way that we have to gauge whether or not training is effective is figure out whether there's terrorist attacks or not. I mean, I don't know of any other way. Or even not even a terrorist attack. Maybe somebody was arrested or prosecuted and convicted for a conspiracy to commit terrorism. If you can show the public that a private security professional that was trained in this prevented the attack, well, then this training is said to be remarkable training. It's good training, and I really think it is. They show a video on how to spot the terrorist attack. How to spot the surveillance activity before an attack, and it's really, really good. Good footage, good video. It's an overall good training course. Now, Chris Holden wants to get rid of this course, weapons of mass destruction, and how does he plan on doing that? Well, he plans on making this an elective if he gets his bill 229 passed, and he's going to get it passed because Gavin Newsom signs anything. When he gets this passed, this is going to be elective. So guards, private security professionals, they're no longer required to take this class. They can pick, and it's just an elective. So, the thing is, if you want to have all your permits, your firearm, baton, your chemical agent, even electronic control device, there's an electronic control device which covers a taser. If you have all that, I just don't see somebody wanting to do this weapons of mass destruction course, because if it's taught wrong, or if it's taught by an instructor that's not too exciting, this would bore people. I don't see a lot of people wanting to sign up for this course. That's why I think it's mandatory. It should be mandatory. Us as private security professionals, we are the first responder to a terrorist attack, and it only makes sense to include this in the powers to arrest course. See, the 8-hour powers to arrest course used to only be 8 hours, and it covered powers to arrest. Then what they did is they chopped it in half, and then they added weapons of mass destruction, because this course is so important. I know it has prevented some attacks in California. Okay, we have better trained private security professionals, and that was the intent. But if he gets his way, and I think he is, this course is gone. Now, Chris Holden wants to add an additional burden to private security professionals, those that want to get their guard card. And the guard card is a term that we use in California to define a private security license, by the way, if you're not from California. So he wants to tack on additional 2 hours. And I'm not too sure if I think it's a guard card course, but it could be the firearms permit course. Additional 2 hours. So this is a guard card course. Guard card course is usually 8 hours long. I don't see them chopping that. You're basically going to be attending a 10-hour course. So what I think is going to happen is, if a private security training facility does this well, if they do it by the book and they do the 10 hours, I don't think they're going to want to do it over a 10-hour period. I think they're going to cut it into 2 days. So now you're going to be stuck with going to training for 2 different days. You're going to have to take off of work for 2 days if you want to get your guard card license. So that's additional 2 hours. Why not chop the weapons of mass destruction course by 2 hours? Okay, because you can easily finish the course, the weapons of mass destruction portion, in 2 hours. So how about you make it 4 hours, powers to arrest, and then 2 hours would be 4 hours would be powers to arrest. 2 hours would be the use of force training extension. And then on top of that, 2 hours would be the weapons of mass destruction course. So now you have 8, and it covers terrorism training. Okay, why would you get rid of that for? I mean, to me, that's a flagrant disregard for the safety of Americans. And this guy is a public servant, and he takes pictures, professional pictures, in front of the American flag. To me, this guy's a traitor. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about the safety. He doesn't like the private security industry, as you can see. Why would he require this? Okay. Excuse me, guys. Now, he wants to change the term of reasonable force, and he wants to change it to appropriate appropriate use of force. There's a huge distinction here, okay? And let's talk about what reasonable force is. And I'm referring to page 53 of the Powers to Arrest manual. This is 2015 edition, revised in June. Okay? It says here, use of force in arrest. If a suspect resists arrest, you are allowed to use reasonable force to subdue the suspect. Reasonable force is that degree, now very important, listen here. Reasonable force is that degree of force that is not excessive and is appropriate in protecting one's property. If the suspect submits willingly, no force is necessary. If a suspect should resist arrest, remember that the only force allowed is that which is reasonable and necessary to overcome the resistance. This has been the law enforcement standard for a very long time, and has been the private security industry standard. Chris Holden is trying to change the standard by changing around the wordings, and he's changing it to appropriate use of force. So instead of reasonable force, it'll be appropriate use of force. And what a reasonable force standard is, it's a standard from the private security. It comes from the perspective of the private security officer. So that officer feels like his or her life is in danger. This person resorts to a minimal amount of force to make the suspect submit to this person, and it's done in a safe manner. It's done in a reasonable manner. Then that's okay. And it's usually from the perspective of the private security professional, considering all the totality of the circumstances. When you put appropriate use of force as the new definition, what you're saying is this: after it's all said and done, BSIS or even a civil court or criminal court will look at it and ask, was this necessary? Was this use of force, was it appropriate? Well, to define appropriate, we're going to ask ourselves, was it necessary? It works like this. Somebody comes up to you, they put their hand in their waistband, they say, hey, I have a gun. And guess what? Today's your lucky day, you're going to die. Okay? Put the hand in the waistband. Let's just say you have a flashlight on you. You're old school. You have one of those big D-cell flashlights, Duracell, the big one, and you feel your life is in danger. This person has their hands in the waistband. You tell them, hey, you know what? Stop threatening me. Stop putting your hand in the waistband, and you hit them over the head with it, and they die. Law enforcement shows up, coroner shows up, and they find that this person had absolutely no weapon on him. Okay, this person was lying. That force under the current standard was reasonable. When you consider all the totality of the circumstances, you believe that this person had an actual weapon on them, and this is the force that you use to protect yourself, right? Now, under the new standard, appropriate use of force standard, you are found guilty for excessive force. Okay, and excessive force can lead to an arrest. It could be arrest for assault with a deadly weapon, for a battery. If you kill this person, it could be a homicide. Okay, Chris Holden essentially is turning private security officers into potential murderers and potential criminals. Okay, if you don't believe me, I want you to read into Assembly Bill 229. Most of you that have a law enforcement background, you guys totally understand the reasonable forces standard. You know how that's applied, and it's from the perception of the officer. When you start applying these new definitions, what this person is doing, what Chris Holden is doing, he's creating a sea of liability for private security companies. I tell you, that's exactly what he's doing, and it's not fair. He's not out there protecting people and property. He's just passing these bills to make himself look good. He was elected, right? And he has to show everybody that he's doing an awesome job. So he needs to get these bills passed. Gavin Newsom is going to sign this. I have a good hinge. So that'll be effective January 1st, 2023. What can you do as a private security professional, maybe a security company? If you're a security company owner, I hope you're reaching out to Chris Holden and having him revise this bill, because this is totally unfair. What can you do? I'm going to leave some links in the description below on how you can contact Chris Holden, but I also want you to attend through this online, it looked like maybe a webinar, kind of like a Zoom meeting. I want you all to attend this meeting. Yes, they are about 2.5 hours long, almost 3 hours long, but I want you to attend it. And I want you to click the link where you're allowed to make a public comment. And once they talk about item 8, Senate Bill 229, you can make a comment. And this is what I would like you to suggest is this, that you understand that there should be some type of revisions with regards to use of force and private security professionals. There should be some more training, but perhaps maybe it should be more physical training. Maybe you have to undergo some type of scenarios where you de-escalate violence. But to add this language, it doesn't do anybody any good. It just creates more liability. It's going to create hesitation with private security professionals. But I want you to voice your opinion. I also want you to mention that you want the same standard that peace officers get. See, the peace officers, they get PORAC, the Peace Officer Research Organization of California. I'm probably butchering that right now. But what organization represents you? And also peace officers, they tend to align themselves. They have a lot of them have a good reputation with a lot of the politicians out there. But as for private security professionals, we're on our own unless you belong to CalSAGA. And at CalSAGA, on their committees, at least half of them belong to the major, huge private security organizations. Are they representing you as maybe as a small company or as a private security, just individual private security officer? I don't know. I mean, maybe they can answer that for you. Okay, but I need you guys to reach out to them. You might be asking me, hey, why don't you reach out to them, Sean? I mean, you're making all those videos. You know, the thing is, I'm still in law enforcement. I have to be reserved on what I say still. And give me about 9 to 10 years. I know it's a long time, and I'm going to be a lot more vocal. I'm going to put them in their place. Okay, I'm going to most likely, I'm going to start attending physically some of these meetings, and I'll voice my opinion, but it's going to be a long shot. And I'm doing my part already. I'm creating these videos. I'm spending a lot of time with the content, but I need you guys to reach out to BSIS. Make sure that you show up on their webinar, and you put in for the public comments. I like to hear you guys, please. I support you guys out there, but your voice needs to be heard, because when you listen on these meetings, it's really concerning to me, because everybody's congratulating each other. They're telling each other, good job, we're all doing an awesome job, we love each other. But very rarely do you see the person that's questioning some of the things that are being passed, some of the things that are being discussed, some of the things that will become law. Everybody is just going along with everything. And then later on, people will complain. You will complain. But nobody says anything. Just listen to the meetings, and you're going to see everybody congratulating each other, and it's going to be a kumbaya meeting. You know what? Let's disrupt the kumbaya-ness. I mean, if that's even a word, and ask yourself some pressing questions. How about, instead of passing all this legislation, How about BSIS leadership tell Chris Holden, hey, this is not going to work, and here's why. How about that? That's true leadership, isn't it? But they can't do that because they are elected. BSI's leadership is elected by Governor Newsom, who's a Democrat. The chief is obviously going to be a Democrat. And if you're a Democrat, it really doesn't matter whether you have Republicans, or some who don't align themselves to any political party. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your constituents' beliefs are. You have to support all of them. And I don't believe that this is being done here. You need to stick up for us, for over 100,000 private security professionals, and not just go along with everything and say everything is a good job, and say that BSIS is the most forgiving agency where you can get a license. By forgiving, I mean, we give prisoners, people that come out of prison, a second chance in life. And I always believe in second chance. But I have attorneys, I have people who have experience in other states, private security experience in other states, private investigators in other states that want to come to California and get a private investigator license, get a private patrol operator license, but they are unable to. But the person that spent time behind bars has a better shot, and that's just the truth. Okay, let me know what you guys think. If I'm being a little bit overreaching, let me know if you support Chris Holden. Let me know why, what kind of benefit would that bring to you. There's a lot of other things that we're going to be discussing after I watch the meeting. I'm going to watch all 2 hours and 45 minutes come February 26th of 2021. I'm going to listen to everything, and I am going to create a video on that, but it'd be nice if I hear some of you guys talking. So I'm going to leave a link in the description below. You guys be safe and take care.